Hi and welcome to the channel for a little series that I'm going to call Why You Should Watch. Rather than it be a review series or a spoiler review series, I'd like to highlight some films that I think you should check out that you might otherwise have missed. And this week's installment is going to be the rather wonderful Strada by Federico Fellini, a 1954 film. So why should you watch Strada? Well, Strada tells the tale of a young lady called Gelsomina. Sorry for the terrible Italian accent, but I can't stop saying her name, and I haven't been able to stop saying her name for weeks upon end because she's an incredibly memorable character. The film starts with her goes to her family home, and she is basically being bought from the mother, who has multiple children and is struggling to feed and house them and to keep them. She's already sold one of her daughters to a man who's a travelling performer, who's played by Anthony Quinn rather spectacularly. He takes Gelsomina and pays 10,000 lira, I think, for her, or she pays a certain amount of money anyway for her to go and be his companion. Now, he's a travelling performer, he's a travelling strongman of sorts. He has an act where he breaks a link of chain with just expanding his chest, and he's a street performer and they do that. They also have some other skits that he needs a female performer for. This male character, Zampano, as I said, played by Anthony Quinn, he's a bit of a brute, I think it's fair to say. He doesn't really have much respect for Gelsomina at all, and I suspect for many women he's a bit of a woman. As he does his performance, he goes into bars, he tries to pick up women, and then Gelsomina becomes nothing more than a pet to him. He will leave her at the side, and it's not long before she feels that she's worth more as a person or as an individual, and she becomes very frustrated by him as a person and doesn't see much of a future with him. And the story tells of their evolving relationship, both good and bad, and about how Gelsomina sees herself. She starts the film as somebody that has been told she isn't worth much, that she hasn't got much value or worth to herself. And you see the progression as her thought process goes through the film. It's very well told, and it's incredibly well acted by who was Fellini's wife at the time, and who had to fight very, very hard to cast. She's perfect at it. A lot of her performance is very Chaplin-esque. If you like Chaplin, then you'll see an awful lot of similarities in her performance, except she's obviously female in doing so. And it's a really wonderful tale as you get to see her make relationships with other people. So once she goes outside the scope of Anthony Quinn's character, she sees that she's quite popular. People always want her in their company. And one character in particular, the Fool, played by Richard Basehart, who I last seen in Visa to Canton, one of the Hammer box sets releases. It takes a real shine to her and wants to help her along and see her do well. And there's a contrast between his character and also Anthony Quinn's character in the film that plays it very well. The other thing that really struck home after watching Strada was, and it's not just Strada that it struck me on, is that this idea of the Hollywood ending, I can see why that became or was coined a phrase, because it's when watching films like this that you are just never sure how it's going to end, and it definitely contrasts to the saccharine nature of knowing the end, the half hour, or how the resolution of a lot of films that are screen tested, that are focus tested, how that plays out in cinema. And this is a good example of something that could have ended 10 different ways and you're not sure which of those that it is. In fact, in some ways this is the 11th way that it could end and ended. It's a terrific film. It's an absolutely terrific film, and one that, if you pick up this Studio Canal release, this Vintage World Cinema, that has a lovely slipcover, sure, but it also has some extras. It has an interview with the film historian in it. It has a lovely interview with Anthony Quinn in it at the BFI, I believe. where he talks about the history of his cinema and also how much he loved working with Fellini and how he really felt he had a kin or a person there. There's a wonderful story that he tells, and I'll spoil this a little bit for you, because obviously he spoke English, didn't speak Italian. Same with Richard Basehart. He used to get them to act by numbers. So he used to get them to call out the direction, because that was all overdubbed, you could do it. And where he would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and count through. And he would have instructions for the actors to act surprised on 10, act horrified on 14. And a lot of the reactions that were done of that is how the film was acted out, because obviously there was a language barrier there. So, like, Anthony Quinn, just a magnificent actor. Richard Basehart, it's only the second film I think I've ever seen him in, but he's a very different character than what I've seen him before. There's another interview with Giulietta Messina in here from Cannes of 1955 when she talks in French. Yeah, it's a French interview at Cannes about this film and also about forthcoming films that she's not allowed to say too much about, which I think is really funny, given that those films are now ancient history in some ways. So she talks about Il Bidon, which is the next film that she was in with Fellini as well. And, you know, the Fellini box set will hopefully be announced soon, and this will almost certainly be part of it, and I would really recommend that you pick this up. As an aside, if I want to give you a double bill to go with this, I think I have the perfect double bill in that if you watch this and watch Chaplin's Circus, you'll get two incredible companion pieces, not just because some of her movements mimic Chaplin's in some ways, but one's happy, sad, this is happy, sad, and they're a really nice companion piece to each other, so you should check them both out. And that is Strada. I will say, if you want me to go into spoilers or do a section at the end of these little reviews, please let me know down in the comments, because it means you can watch the film twice. You can watch the first part about why you should watch it, and then once you've watched it, you can come back and discuss the film in maybe some more detail at that stage. Thanks so much for watching. If you've seen Strada, let me know. If you want to leave it a while, watch it and then come back, we'll have a discussion about Strada, because I think it's an absolute beauty. Thanks for watching. Take care. All the best. Bye.